Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through why women are constantly surveying their environments to see whether or not they are safe, and why women are under constant uncertainty of their safety. Misogyny is not a joke. It's not a rumor. It's very, very real. It's not a fragment of women's imaginations. Women are not crazy. Women need safety much, much, much more than men can even possibly think or imagine. So in this video, I'm going to give you some real crash course in reality here for both the men and the women to understand what the far majority of women are dealing with on a pretty regular basis. If you're new, thank you for joining me. My name is Stormy Calder. I am your favorite shaman, psychic, medium, high performance coach, and I'm here to help you access your highest potential. I do that through spiritual coaching and personal development. If that's your vibe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications, drop a comment below, tell me what you love from the video, and like this video. Okay, thanks. Okay, now jumping into this heavier topic. Here's the truth. Men think women are crazy. Men think women overanalyze. Men think women are whatever they think women are. And here's the truth. This world is built to be safe for men, and this world is unsafe naturally for women. It is built for men. Men do not realize what women go through, how women are seen as prey and often hunted almost daily. And that the actions and behaviors of women are very often primal instinct. And that what men may think of, I was going to say you, but for the men watching, as cold behavior is behavior that has saved that woman's life. I can guarantee it. Now, I'm going to caveat this for a moment, and then I'm going to circle back into my main theme of the video. I have been, through my enlightenment work, both taught and chosen to be openly warm and loving. My heart has been immensely open. I have a very, very open heart, literally to my detriment. A lot of women are this way, especially enlightened women, especially divine feminines, because we are trained to open our hearts to the world in order to navigate in a way where our needs are met and where we can love others in a way that they otherwise can't be loved. Here's the issue with that. If you walk out into this world, into public, with a wide open heart, it's a calling card for predators. I wish it wasn't the case, but I encounter it daily. And I'm here as a voice on behalf of the voiceless of women who need to know that they are not crazy. And then this is legitimate. And I have some examples from earlier today on just how protected I am and how protected you also can be when you invoke that protection for women. And for men to understand what that when you are rejected when you approach a woman, or if you're like, oh, that woman's just posh, she's just too pretty, she's just got high standards, she's got whatever BS you have entered into this equation, that woman is almost assaulted daily to degrees that if it happened to you, you'd have so much respect for women and you would completely change your behaviors around women and towards women because you would realize they are sexually harassed daily. And if it happened to you, you'd be so appalled. For the men watching my stream, you'd be stripped down to little to no integrity and you'd turn around and you would start defending women. And this is something I'm going to encourage both for men and women. I'm going to give you myself as my own reference point. I have called the cops on girls that I've seen in cars in the past that looked like they were being trafficked in order to provide accountability. I have stepped in between people that looked like they were aggressive. When I see couples on the streets like arguing aggressively, I either call the cops or if it feels safe, I might say, hey, are you okay? Mostly to the women. I'm asking, not just mostly, I'm specifically addressing the women to see whether or not they're okay. I can't even count numerous occasions saved teens and younger women from being in very threatening and borderline would-be violent had the scenario kept going scenarios or events because I am alert. Because these things are easy to see. And my caution here, especially for the men, but also for women, is that when you see another woman that is with a man that is uncomfortable, you can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their body posture. If they look like they're about to be hurt physically, it's because they are. please step in, even if you don't know them. Ask them I literally stepped in between. I posted this on a video with you guys like months ago. There was this man that was talking to these two 15-year-olds at the beach that were near me. I vocalized to the women, to the girls. I said, "Do you feel safe?" And they just looked at me like deer in the headlights. And I went, "I don't need to hear any more." I said, "Do you want to talk to this man?" And they were just silent. And they just looked at me, and you can see the fear in their eyes. And I was like, I will take care of this. There are so many times where this happens to women and girls, and there are bystanders. There are strangers that could have stepped in. Be that fucking stranger. Be the good Samaritan. Get out of your way. No, not everyone is actually in good relationship. You can tell when the hair starts standing up on the back of your neck, or for someone like me, Spirit makes it very, very obvious for me. When you have that gut instinct, call the cops. Be an advocate, okay? So anyway, that's my PSA. But I think a lot of men are just overlooking misogyny. And they think women are just nuts. No, women are just crazy. And it's like women are just trying to protect themselves from being abused and harmed. The woman that's cold is the one that is protected. The woman that has her eyes on a swivel is the one that is protected. The one that has God on autopilot is the one that's protected. The women that have the men on their shoulders, on their arms, are the ones that are protected. But now we have the question of what's the man that's with her? But I can tell you from experience, the difference between being single and not. When I was in relationship, even when I was alone, I got approached much, much less because people could feel my ex on me. But when your heart's not taken by a man, and this is not to say that any of you that you shouldn't be single. I love being single. It's to say that there are benefits of being in relationship. Women are not predatory creatures by nature. When your heart is open and exposed and you're engaging with other people, if you are open and you are a divine feminine, your heart is available. It's in its blossoming state. And what you have to do is avidly set boundaries to prevent other men from attaching into your heart and then wounding you in the process, which takes away from your divinity and it takes away from your availability to call in your man. A lot of women get stuck in relationships that they don't realize they're stuck in. A lot of them are friendships. A lot of them are mentors. I'm not even going to beat around the bush on that one. I have had so many mentors come on to me that I'm just I'm just so fed up. I'm just fed up. I won't even work with men at this point where they're in a position of power over me because they always abuse it. Always, 100% of the time. And for those of you that have worked with me or any of the men that have worked with me where I do set boundaries, where I say I'm completely unavailable for anything other than a professional relationship, it is for the same reason. The reality is that women are confronted with behavior that they haven't invited and that they don't want to engage in all of the time. All of the time. Today, I encountered it 5 times. And I was out in public in a safe location with lots of people around. And this still happened that amount of times. Now, the reason why I'm going into this into depth is because I wanted to share more specifically for the women that if you pray for safety, I pray for safety every time I leave my house. I pray to stay safe. My guides always tell me pray to stay safe. That's a physical thing. It's also an emotional frequency, and it's also like a bandwidth of your spiritual frequency, your energy. If you pray to stay safe, your guidance team and your higher self can protect you from anything happening in your environment that would harm you if you didn't invoke the protection for the day. All right? So I prayed to stay safe today, and my guides often ask me to do so because when you glow brighter and brighter and brighter, when you have a big radiant sun coming out of your heart all of the time, you attract a lot of things, and they're frequently not great. And instead of me having to thwart every freaking attack or nonsense or attraction or whatever, Spirit takes care of it most of the time without my knowing, but sometimes things do catch my attention. So today I'm walking through Beverly Hills. I don't know when I will post that video, either before or after this. It's cute. And I shot an entire video of me walking through Beverly Hills with the big palm trees for you guys to see, because it's just really beautiful. And something happened where my video shut off automatically, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, my entire camera shut down and the mic shut down. And I was like, wow, so strange. So then I started recording again and kept going. I did notice there was someone behind me, and I did notice that I was picking up my pace, and I did notice that I felt uncomfortable, but I was in the middle of filming, so I was trying to ignore those things while continuing to maintain my thought process and to deliver. Okay? So I was safe. It's fine. Anyway, I get home. That first video doesn't exist. Spirit deleted it. And Spirit does stuff like all the time like this with me. If you invoke protection and you have actual spiritual access, if you are a divine feminine, Spirit will step in and take care of things that don't even make sense. There is no reason why my video should have stopped recording. None. And for the video to automatically delete. So of course, because I was missing that video and because I saw that it was a message from Spirit, I even said it in the video. We'll see if I can post all of that. When I got home, I immediately went into my higher guidance systems. I said, what the hell is the deal? Where'd the video go? And they told me I could use it as an example. There was a man who was tracking me behind me and videotaping me. I thought he was on the phone, and I remember turning around. I was kind of like, he was like just about on top of me. And I was trying to like manage what I was saying on camera, and that's when the camera turned off, but I didn't touch anything to turn it off. And then I was like a little weirded out, but then just like crossed the street and kept filming. And you guys will see that video is from that moment where I just kept filming. I didn't even miss a beat. When I went into my Akashic records and downloaded what happened, because I am highly psychic, I can go back and review the actual events in my life as they are in real time. And I watch them through like a movie, and then I can see the actual details, almost like pausing myself in the video and then moving around 360. I forget what that's called. I don't know if it's a remote viewing or what the deal is, but it's a cool intuitive trait to have. So I went back to that moment and I looked, and then I asked my guardians what was going on. And they were like, he was tracking you. He was following you for blocks. He was filming you. And they said to me specifically, they said, go back and rewatch that last part of the tape before we shut your video off, because we needed to get your attention. Because he was going to keep following me. So I go back to that moment, and they said, you thought he was on the phone. And I said, yes. And I turned and I looked, I scrubbed through the psychic data in the moment. And I went, oh my gosh. And they said, he wasn't on the phone. He was talking to you. And I went, wow, I was in broad daylight, in public, in like a safe area. Had I known that that was happening, I would not have been able to shoot the rest of that video. That would have freaked me out a lot. Now, for the men and women that need the reference, that wasn't the only event. Okay, so while I was shooting that video, I went down to Rodeo, and I took you guys with me down Beverly Hills because it's pretty. And I shot some extra footage where I put the camera on the ground and then I was walking towards it. While I did that, there was a guy that stepped out and started taking photos of me. And then while I was shooting with my camera, I was so flustered because I was like, did you see that I'm shooting and you decided to shoot me while I'm shooting my own footage anyway? And he kind of just like projected himself in and walked right up to me. He was like, hey, I took these photos of you. Like, do you want them? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, who are you? What are you, like paparazzi? Like, get out. Like, I quickly looked through. It happened in like 30 seconds. And I was like, these are not good photos. You're fired. Goodbye. But that was another event. And there was another event, same day, within probably an hour and a half, where I went by a coffee shop that I love. And I noticed a guy there that I've had disagreements with in the past who had taken the liberty of creating behaviors that are stalking. to the point where there are certain places that I don't go because this human goes to them and intimidates me. So there were 3 events in that short time span in an hour that most of which I was able to avoid. But if you guys are wondering why women are so attentive to safety, why we don't ever feel safe in this world, it's because we're not. And you guys aren't supporting us for the most part. I don't think I have a single occasion where someone has ever come up to me and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And I have been in many, many, many situations where men have approached me and tried to pretend to befriend me, try to already know me, take photos, like they do things to get in, to create a perception of knowing someone. And other people very easily could see, like, I was alone in all of these different situations in my past. Like, you're not paying attention. Stop assuming the best. Like, everyone that's a bystander, like, stop, like, being like, oh, they probably know that. No, like, if you had a little inkling of a feeling, please go help that woman. She's not helpless, but she needs support. Because the truth is, once women start to feel threatened because they are threatened, they are now in a fight, flight, freeze response. And depending on how that woman was raised, depends on which response she goes into. It is very frequently a freeze response for women because women are taught that if they speak up, that they can be harmed. And a lot of us have real intelligence around that being actually historically accurate. All right, when you see something like this happening, like with the guy, the photographer, there were people around us. With the other one too, that was following me with the camera, there were other people across the street that just like didn't do anything. And it's why women don't feel safe. And for all of the men that are like, women are just crazy. No, you are all crazy. You are all crazy. I did not encounter a single man today who approached me with respect. I didn't go into any stores that probably would have received that respect. But the men that did approach me disrespected me. And I have stepped in for women and girls, teens, in many situations where I have seen that there was something very unsafe going on. Now, we can call it a hypervigilance for me, but it's a hypervigilance that most moms have. So I wonder why the men don't have it. Is it just an exercised belief that you think women are nuts? Is it just that you have a complete misunderstanding of what it is to be a woman and you haven't been treated like prey since you were a child? Women are over-sexualized very early. Very early. It's very unfortunate. And for the men that are listening, I have heard countless and countless and countless tales of violence upon women from victims that speak to me and then I help them heal. Most of us don't look like we've encountered it because it's painful. We don't want to, we heal it, and then we just want to be like, okay, move it on, move it along. It's the ability to transcend. So a lot of us don't carry that pain, but it doesn't mean that we're not dealing with it regularly. And like me, I'm not dealing with the pain of the aftermath of the stuff I've been through. I'm dealing with pain from today. Like, I'm dealing with bullshit from this week. Think about it. Protect your daughters. Please, dear God, protect your wives, protect your sisters, and for some of you, protect your moms. Some of your moms are hot. Look, here's the deal. Be considerate to women. Don't assume anything about women, okay? Nobody's asking for anything. Women should be allowed to dress how they want to dress, regardless of what that is. And I'm going to be really honest with you. Most of the time, we're not dressing in a way that would command that level of attention. Men are pigs. They are dogs. And they need to be put in their place. And for those of you that are healthy or are safe to one way or another, I would love to say you're in the minority almost, because like I went through many encounters today on just a random day. Look out for women. And at the end of the day, if you see something that looks fishy, say something. What's the worst case scenario? You look stupid or they were in a relationship? Well, thank God you said something. Most of the time that I ask, like the women are usually like, thank you. Yes, I needed help and didn't know how to ask. But they can't say that in the moment because they're in the process of being shocked. They are in shock. So you have to deal with a person that's in shock. But when you ask, you give it space. You give that event space. You give it a moment for whatever's happening. If it's very, very fishy, that woman can now run. You just gave her an exit strategy. And if she needed the physical exit strategy that might be available, maybe she needed an emotional exit strategy. Like, oh yeah, like, please, we need to work together. This world is insane. Stop trying to make this about women being crazy and that we're making stuff up. It's pure insanity. For the women, pray for your spirit team to keep you safe. A lot of you are safe because you have found ways to super guard yourself up. Because my heart is open, I have to pray to stay safe. I don't even think I could close my heart at this point in my awakening journey. Unfortunately, but a lot of you are guarded, or you'll find that there are a lot of women that will dim themselves or their attraction, or they will dim their emotional health, because when we are vibrant and we look beautiful, everything comes to the surface to come say hello and to come shake your hand and take footage of you and try to get your attention and take photos randomly like a freaking paparazzi, or like I don't even understand, but it does happen regularly. I've gotten very good at setting boundaries. I get very aggressive with setting boundaries because that's how it works. I also am comfortable, if I needed to, potentially taking someone down, but regardless, I'm very hyper aware of my safety spiritually. So my guides are always making me like, follow your impulses, change sides of the street. I do stuff like that all the time. Like if you see something sketchy, a lot of women especially don't want to offend the men, are so afraid of like, oh, but what if he feels like I'm making him into something he's not? So they'll stay on that side of the street and then they get harassed. Please trust your gut. Please, please, please trust your gut. It's taken me in my entire life to get to the point over the last couple of years where I'm just like, I don't care if that man feels offended by me. I'm going to cross the street and you're going to know that I crossed the street because you looked dangerous. I will literally not get in Ubers if I get that feeling. I will get out of people's cars. I will do anything to keep myself safe, because that primal instinct you have is inherently God and spirit communicating through to you to keep you safe. A lot of you women know what I'm talking about. Most of us have these anchors in our upbringing or our young adulthood where we missed the cues and very terrible things happened. And then when we scrubbed back in our history, when we went, oh shoot, I did have that feeling. There was intuition and I ignored it because I was afraid of what someone else was going to think about me, or was going to be offended by what I thought about them. And it's like, well, that was a predator. Like, let them be offended. It's better to err on the side of safety than it is to try to be high and mighty and hold your emotions together. When I feel threatened, I get loud. And that is what I would recommend for you. Getting loud is a good sign because it starts to attract attention from other people to realize that you are not safe so that you can get back up if you need it. Most women, when they don't feel safe, get quiet. And I understand it, but it doesn't work. Get loud, please, dear God. The louder you get, the safer you are. The crazier you look in those moments, the safer you are. The stronger the boundaries, the meaner you get, the safer you are. It is the opposite to the way that women are trained in society. We're trained to be quiet, soft, and meek and non-offensive. And unfortunately, that's how the subconscious is programmed. And then when we come into really threatening situations, most of us, I'm not one of these anymore. I get loud, man. I get really mean, verbally mean. Spirit moves through a full channel. I feel my entire column of energy open up. And then Divine Mother steps through me and speaks to the people on the other side. If you don't set clear, concise boundaries that you are not to be messed with, they will often mess with you. But your physical safety is worth everything. It's your life. And for those of you that have had any level of loss in your past, like grieving around losing people, life is short. When you lose someone, generally speaking, you learn the lesson that life is short. Life is short. Please do not give up your safety. When you feel that primal impulse, that primal instinct, you are on the bridge of danger that could prevent you from having another breath. Please remember this. It's not a joke. It's not about you saving face. It's not about you trying to be passive so that you are unassuming and so that you don't offend anyone. Offend them. You're saving your own fucking life. I've done it on multiple occasions for myself and others. I wish more people would step up the way that I do. I'm hoping a video like this enables those of you to start looking around, to be the aid in this situation. You'll see it with people. Start looking around. It'll start happening. It happens. It doesn't happen all the time with me, but like it happens at least once a year. Okay, so for women, this is what I would say to you is always trust your gut. Risk offending someone in order to protect yourself. And if you're wrong, whatever. Okay. It's worth it. Do you know why? Because if you were right, and at some point this feeling will be right, it's inevitable, it's how intuition and primal instinct works, it's your life. It's okay to be wrong for the one time, or maybe 4 times you're wrong, but once you're right, thank God. Thank God you took the time to protect yourself. Call in divine protection. Do it whenever you leave the house, truly. Whenever I get in a car, whenever I get in a bike, whenever I get on the bus, like, I'm calling in divine protection. I ask for sacred and safe journey wherever I'm going so that guides and guardians can track me like radar because I want them to be on top of my journey being safe. My last big tip was be mean if you need to be mean. It can and often does save your life. That is my long message for you guys on why women are more cautious in general, on why women are less trusting in general, and why safety, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual safety is so important for a woman is because it doesn't come stock with the operating system of a human. In fact, we are born into a very unsafe world, and then we have to find ways to shield ourselves, and often for women and our children, to create safety where none exists. So let's honor that. And for the men, start finding ways to support that. Please, dear God, specifically allowing yourself to be that safe space, removing all of the predatory aspects of yourself, over-sexualizing women for yourself, lusting after women for yourself. Lust is not love. It is not, if anyone was wondering, it is not love. It is not. You can have you can have sex in a space of love, but that's not lust. If you're lusting, you are hurting another woman. That's a whole nother thing, by the way, too, before I close out here. I can feel when men when they lust after me. It sends a psychic energy that tries to steal my energy away from me. And it happens more than you think. It's like daily. It happens daily. And it happens from people that I would trust too. And then once I feel that feeling, I start to remove these people out of my life. And they're like, oh, what's happening? I'm like, oh, you're just one of the many stock option men that just treats women like they're objects. And that's not safe for me. Because when you approach my energy that way, you've already created a disease spiritually that you're now trying to spread into my system. You're trying to harvest my essence out of me. That's why you'll hear a lot spiritually with divine feminines. It's like when you're dating men or you're with men, you're either with men that are giving to you, that are amplifying your essence. And by men, I mean a man. There's only ever one. Or you're with men that are looking to collect your essence. And that is the far majority of men. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The far majority. It's why I have to be so intense with setting my boundaries so frequently. And on another note, for anyone and everyone who needs to hear it, those of us that are criticized for our intensity, and it's always women, I've been reflecting on this a lot. I've been called intense since I was a child, and I don't have a trigger towards it because people are like, oh, you're too intense. And I'm like, I don't care. This is who I am. Maybe you're too weak. Maybe you're too soft. Maybe you're too passive. Maybe my intensity is not the problem. Maybe you're self-medicated. Maybe you have an addiction problem. Maybe you don't like when people express themselves because it triggers you. All of those things are not my problem. But here's the truth. Women are always criticized for being too much or too intense or too emotional. The truth is, they're looking for safety. If they're intense, if they're emotional, if they come off as crazy, we'll put in big terms, as if women are crazy, but they're not. It's because they're not safe. And you are participating in that paradigm and in that relationship. If you are there, if you are nearby, if you are doing anything or not doing anything, you are part of this paradigm. You are part of that relationship. You are a participant, and you are creating the energy that she is then responding and reacting from. Start taking responsibility. I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. And if I offend you, good. Maybe you'll remember this the next time you see a woman that is being harassed by someone, or there's a situation starting, just the bud of a real nasty situation that you can step into, or say something, or help protect someone. My guides are telling me to say right now, I cannot lie. The divine brought me to speak this out of my mouth, through my voice, through YouTube, to set an air and a bubble of protection for all of those who care about their sovereignty and about the safety of women. Keep every woman you know safe by not disrespecting her in your mind, verbally, or physically. By not turning her into an object in your mind. By not going home and having sex with an idea of her. That is some pretty severe psychic black magic work through which you will be held accountable. There are big karmic laws around that. Do not self-pleasure or have sex visualizing another human that is not your partner. When you do that, you are signing contracts with addiction. You are signing contracts with all of the dark forces and powers, and you are stripping the woman of her divine essence without her permission. It is called a spiritual rape. A lot of you don't know that. You do it innocently, ignorantly, and I'm telling you now to stop. We feel it. And people like me know where it's coming from. I've got a lot of protection. I've got an insane amount of protection. But when things like that happen, I'm given downloads and told who's doing what so that I know who to stay away from. I think a lot of you forget that God's eyes are on you 24/7. Some of you think you go home, you shut the door, and that like whatever you do is just between you and like the air in between the walls. Like some of you really forget that there is divine accountability. And when you do things that don't sit well and that are highly negative, if they are affecting specific people, and those people are spiritual like me, and I'm not the only person like this, my guidance team, my ancestors come and deliver me the information. I'm not scraping for it. I'm not asking for it. My ancestors are just like, hey, heads up, this person is doing this. This person is doing this, and this person is doing this. We're telling you so that you stay away from them. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or we're telling you so that you can go set a boundary and remove this relationship from your life, which happens a lot because I'm so aware. That's what happens when you ascend. You're going to have to move through lots and lots of relationships. I hate to sugarcoat it. I will not sugarcoat it for you. I can't, because I'd be lying. You will go through a lot of relationships. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you or helped educate in one way or another for the women. I hope it helped you feel heard and seen, maybe gave you a couple tips on how to keep yourself protected for the men. I hope you have more empathy and more understanding towards women, and that you can curb your own inner misogynist, because every man's got it. And work with it and heal it and begin to offer respect for women. Offer protection for women, because God knows we all need it. Alrighty, that's what I got. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your positive thoughts below about maybe what resonated. And until next time, I will see you guys soon.